What's up, everyone, and welcome back to the channel. Hope your day is going well. I just wanted to pop in and share a few of my thoughts on the goings-ons. First, I wanted to I wish strength and encouragement and perseverance to all federal employees out there. Let's stay in the fight. And I hope that you're doing well this week and ready to tackle week 4, the administration change and all of the blunt force trauma that's coming at the federal workforce. But I wish you well. So let's, of course, first start out by taking a sip. You don't have to take sips if you're going to, be able to, in this current arena of things, sipping is necessary. So what I wanted to talk about a little bit, I'm sure by now everyone has seen or has read the fork in the road email that OPM put out. Basically, the Trump administration put out to all of the federal workforce that offers the deferred resignation program option. I'm sure everybody's familiar with it and has read it or has got a chance to read it. But I wanted to just kind of dive into the 4 pillars that were outlined in this love letter to us from Trump a little bit more. And first, I want to say there's one thing I got to give to Trump that I can get with, and that is he's an I said what I said type person. He don't give a shit, period. And, sometimes that has its ups and its downs. Sometimes it has its positives and negatives. It just, depends on the way you use that characteristic, I believe. I believe it's necessary in some points, in some aspects of life. But as my mama would say, what you do comes back on you. So, if you're going to use it, if you have the mentality of, I don't give a shit, use that in strength and in humility and purposely. Don't just be an asshat. Don't just be an asshat with that character trait. So anyway, that is one thing trait that I can get with him sometimes, and obviously other times not, because it's not used as, And the other thing is that I can give to Trump is that, I wouldn't say predictability, but he tells you what he's going to do. He's always going to tell you, or has already told you what he's going to do, so if you just read between the lines and sometimes you only have to, in most cases, you only have to read between the lines. He just, tells you what he's going to do. And that is what he has basically done, him and his administration, in this love letter to the federal workforce, which I just wanted to jump into. So let's get into it. As you can see, there's the deferred resignation letter and the 4 pillars. And I just want to focus a little bit on each. So my thought process in terms of receiving information. Okay, so when I went to school and, I had to do all the studies, and I got a whole bunch of reading material that I had to read, my main focus was to just kind of focus on the keywords or the phrase that the paragraph or paragraphs was trying to tell you, so that's just my way of thinking. If I see a paragraph or a couple of paragraphs in front of me, then I'm just going to look for the keywords for the bottom line up front. I'm a bottom line up front, girl. I ain't got time for all this, back and forth. Just tell me what it is that you want me to do. What is it that you want from me? So that was my approach when reading this. So let's look at the first one. So the first point, number 1 of the first pillar, is return to the office. Okay. The word that stands out to me is return. That's it. Period. Point blank. You going back, so, and that's fine. That's what he has started that process and rolled it out. And, all the federal agencies are about, scrambling to have everyone return. So first pillar, clear as day. He's already executed at that. He's already executed on that. So, federal employees, we going back.
Damn.
That is what it is. It's in play, He told us, it's executed, and we're going back. Okay, so the second point, the second pillar is performance culture. And in this paragraph, what stood out, well, there's a couple of things that stood out to me, but the first one is the best America has to offer. So when I think of that, and I'm looking at what you putting up, you know, because you the administration, and you lead by example. So I'm thinking of, okay, what have you putting up what is your reflection of the best America has to offer? Is it these people? I mean, if that's what you're saying, that's the best. Is that my, you know, is what I'm supposed to, you know, garner is the best that America has to offer. I mean, you know, we're not going to go into detail about some of the things. Everybody has issues. Nobody is perfect. Nobody is without sin or without issue. But if this is your, you know, your list of the best that I'm supposed to follow, you know, I'm gonna be outside of that. You know, I'm gonna be lacking in that department, because the examples that you're putting up for the best doesn't really align with me too well. So I'm gonna be out on the street with that. Okay, so anyway, moving forward, the next thing that stood out to me was address in a fair and open way. Okay, so you've already told us that performance is going to be based on the best. Okay, you've already, you know, shown us the best. So if that's the best and we're the rest, and you talking about address in a fair and open way. First of all, when you say address, that means deal with. Okay, so that means you telling me that everybody that doesn't fall in the realm of this quote unquote best America has to offer is going to be dealt with in a fair and open way. Okay. I mean, you know, what does that mean? We know what that means. So you about to hammer down on performance. Now, I'm all for performance. You know, everybody needs to be measured and rated based on their performance. But there's this notion that all or many federal employees have bad performance rating or bad productivity, and that's just not the case. It's not anything extraordinary, any different from any private sector organization. You just have bad apples. But the majority of individuals in that company, in that organization, meet performance metrics, you know, and just saying we just gonna address in a fair and open way. We're gonna deal with the rest of y'all who ain't, you know, I mean, you know, why you got you know, I mean, that's just what I'm getting. You know, I don't know what kind of vibes you all are feeling from this second pillar, but that's kind of what I'm feeling. So, you know, deal with us. And yeah, I mean, we've always had performance measures, and we always will. And, you know, it just kind of makes me wonder. I wonder about the nature or the narrative of this new performance culture metrics here, you know. So, and, you know, this is, again, Trump tells you what he's doing. He's already, I think it was yesterday or the day before, that the OPM put out another guidance for them getting ready to adjust or take a hard look or whatever on performance metrics, on performance of federal employees.
Really?
I hope that everybody is well, trying to survive these Hunger Games that's being put out on federal employees. I would just say to hang in there, you know, stand strong, you know, show up every day, continue to do what you're doing. And, you know, we'll just all try to, you know, hold your head high and stay strong and get through what federal employees are being subjected to as a gauntlet. You know, so we're running through this gauntlet, you know, and we're trying to survive the Hunger Games. Okay, so the third pillar. Now, this is the big one. This is the big scary ass one. More streamlined and flexible workforce. What stood out to me, the only thing I see up in this paragraph is reduction in force, RIF. Reduction in force, also known as a RIF. That's all I see. I mean, and like I said, Trump tells us what he's going to do. Fed fam, I think this one is going to have some of us out here holding on for our federal jobs like this.
You ain't never coming back here! Out here!
He's already done the remote. He's already pushed out the remote and, started that whole grievance gauntlet process. And then, as you can see, the performance guidance is coming. So that's going to be the next gauntlet that we got to run through, and all the changes that are going to be associated with that. And then I think this third one, the big one, is going to be reduction in force. And, the first thing I think is, okay, I'm a federal employee. I'm a high functioning, well-performing federal employee. My performance ratings, my appraisals are stellar. I shouldn't have anything to worry about. All I got to do is go back to work, be one of the best, and keep my performance measurements up, which I do anyway. But now this is, I think, going to be the hardest part of the gauntlet for federal employees, and you can just kind of tell the way that the administration is just bulldozing, damn the lawsuits, damn the class action suits that are coming up, damn the union, and all that fighting back. We're going to keep steamrolling, and we're going to keep moving through, and people are just going to have to be tied up in litigation, but we're going to keep it pushing around here like Cat Williams says, so we done already moved past the remote work. We already into the performance metric guidance, the performance measures guidance that's getting ready to come out, in which we're getting ready to get hit hard with. And then, soon after that, reductions in force, in my opinion, are going to follow. And they're not going to, you think the administration is going to stop and say, well, wait a minute, we need to look at the legal aspect of, no, they not. They're just going to come pushing, and just keep pushing, with whatever agency and whatever, we just start laying people off. They've already asked for a certain subset of people. I think probationary people who are, less than a year or two in their roles, who can be, let go, no questions asked, no fucks, no arguments given or whatever. So they've already asked for that, and then, after, as the steamroller keeps pushing, we just gonna have these, I think, in my opinion, this is all my opinion, we're just going to have these reduction in force coming down. Bam, bam, left, right. I think the administration is going to demand that these agencies say, you need to make cuts. Start with this subset and then the next subset, but you need to figure out how your needed department of 10 can function with 4. And they just going to start laying off people. I'm in this with y'all. But reduction of force, I think that's going to be, the biggest gauntlet and the most detrimental to most federal employees. I'm sorry to say. This is just what I think is coming. Okay, and the last, save the good, but the last, save the best for last. Enhanced standards of conduct. For those of you who are left, beaten, battered, bruised, toe up from the flow up. We're gonna demand that you be. All I see in this paragraph is loyal. That's it. All them other words ain't saying nothing. But when I think about this administration, and the word that jumps out to me is loyal. Loyal. Okay, loyal.
Kneel before Zod.
So again, we know who he is. We know what he demands. And so I think this is going to be the final sweep, of the federal workforce. I don't know how they're going to do it. Project 2025 does point out a lot of things about loyalists and about being loyal to this administration, to the administration in power.
Kneel before Zod.
It talks, I remember, some part of 2025 talks about, civilian placement test or aptitude or whatever, some kind of test, which probably will ask about your loyalty to the administration. I think there are going to be barriers. There are going to be things put in place where you have to prove, acknowledge prove your loyalty to this administration.
Kneel before Zod!
Which that should have absolutely nothing to do with serving the public, performing a job to serve the public. But, you know, he's already told us, Project 2025 has told us, here are the 4 pillars. As I read it, and I read it in the manner to where things, you know, bottom line up front, this is just what I saw. You can agree or disagree. It doesn't matter. This is my, you know, my video, my thoughts. I just wanted to share, be interested in hearing y'all's. And, you know, we just got to push through the Hunger Games, and we just got to survive, stand strong, be prepared as possible, as humanly possible as you can for any kind of changes that might come. I wish you all the best, Fed family. And, you know, we'll survive. Thanks for watching. May the odds be ever in your favor. I don't know. Something like it.